Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is a speaker and author of several books on relationships. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. The image consciousness of black professional men. Now, I know I have plenty of ladies on here who are non-black, but I wanted to really address this to the sisters who listen to this channel and to get a perspective. Now, if you follow my men's channel, you know I kind of started a little bit of a storm with the whole thing about professional brothers getting more women or running through more women than hood brothers, and that's the truth. That's the truth. I mean, it is what it is. You know, when I talk about select and non-select men, all of them aren't like, muscular pretty boys. The majority of men who become select, particularly in the black community, did so because they built their body. They had to build. They built their body, right? They built their body. They got a professional degree, and boom. I mean, I know some brothers on that level down. It's even the married ones got extra women, and they're only dealing with fine professional women. They not yeah. But I wanted to talk about the image consciousness, right? Because I know there are plenty of sisters who still, want one of those high post brothers, one of those masters of the universe brothers, right? Now, other than there's not a lot of them to go around, I mean, I looked up the numbers, and just over the age of, according to blackdemographics.com, the number of black men who have a graduate or professional degree is about 1 million, 1.2 million, right? Nearly 1.3 million, if I'm going to round up, right? So it's not a lot to go around. But, you still get some women who want it. But I thought about the image consciousness, and the reason I entitled it Image Consciousness, because I thought about this sister, and she has a YouTube channel. I'm not going to call her out because I think she's sincere with her stuff. She's not mean-spirited, but I remember her talking about, just go for men with money and all of that, right? And I'm looking at the sister, and, sister had that bohemian type of vibe to her. Get that bohemian type of vibe, had her locks and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this sister must not have actually dealt with these type of brothers to be telling, or to even think that she can hold out for them. One thing about black professional men, very image conscious, right? In fact, I give you an example, best example, Barack Obama. He was very conscious of the type of woman that he was going to be with publicly. He pretty much knew from the time he made the president of Harvard Law Review back in 1990, right, that he had to deal with a certain type of woman. He wasn't going to deal with like the manager of a retail place or that woman, that administrative type of woman. He had to deal with a woman of a certain image, a certain standing. When you get those type of men, they are very, very image conscious. And I say that because I see a lot of sisters out here, they got the tattoos, which is, that's cool. That's cool. You should express yourself anyway. They got the tattoos and the piercings and stuff, and that's cool if they want to deal with a man who got his tattoos. That's very cool. But when you're dealing with a man on that professional level, he is very conscious of what he's dealing with. And it's a combination of wanting a trophy. I mean, I'm just being real with it. He's very conscious of wanting a trophy, and also someone who would just represent him, period. If he's thinking beyond the trophy, just a good looking woman on his arm. He's thinking about, okay, who is this woman going to represent me well? See, understand when you start dealing with men with money, and a lot of women say they want that, but I'm like, wait a minute, are you prepared to deal with that? Like I have he's a Facebook friend. He's a Facebook friend, and this dude's a mason. This dude is a mason, a businessman. He deals with higher level people. One of the things he said, and he don't just deal with black men. He's dealing with like multi-millionaire white men, men of other races, right? And he said one thing: once you get to that level, one of the things that they'll judge another man on is the woman on his arms, and that in terms of beauty. Let me make that clear. When you get in those upper circles, they judging that, they looking at that woman's class level and everything, right? Like I give you an example. I knew some dudes, got acquainted with some dudes years ago. They went to my high school, and I'll say they were a part of a very prominent old money black family, right? Now, one of them had a faux pas with his family because he brought some tacky ass woman home. And his family was ready to disown him because she did not fit their bourgeois image. And that's a real thing. When you at that level, you're only dealing with a certain level. Like one of my mentors, named my son after him, he came from that background. He came from that background, and it was just certain women he just wasn't going to deal with because he had to be concerned. Now he passed away. I remember when we went to his burial, and he was military. He was buried at Arlington, Arlington Cemetery. And for those who know, that's the place for military. But that looked like just the class and how they were carrying themselves. It was totally different. I ain't seen any tattoos or piercings, anything like that. And I'm saying this because you get some women. Like I talked about the class game with men. And I understand, ladies. I understand y'all check for class. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. But understand, when like most men, they don't necessarily check. They just, as long as you fine or something, they ain't worried about it. But when you get to that professional man, that man who's a doctor or something like that, they are extremely conscious of who they have on their arm, at least publicly. Now they might dip down. Some of them might dip down in situations. They might dip down in situations where it's a side piece. Now these men ain't perfect. Let's put it like that. These men ain't gonna be perfect, all right? Let's just get that out the way. But and like I say, they might dip down in some cases where you're a side piece and they can kind of hide you. But when it's talking about you being on their arm publicly, nah, you got to carry yourself a certain way. You got to have a certain look, certain hairstyles. Like and I mentioned before, back when I dealt with that world. And it's only for spiritual reasons I no longer deal with that world. That'll get into some other stuff. When I dealt with that world, I remember just going to parties where it was nothing but where the women, I mean, they just totally clean, no tats, very good shape, very, very good shape. And they had to carry themselves a certain way because class is more than, just how much money you making. The women had to speak a certain way. They had to have a certain look to them. And it's that image. I mean, that image means everything. And sometimes when I listen to some women, even some women on YouTube, about what they want and the type of guy, I'm like, yeah, you can want that guy with some money, that rich brother or that brother with some money, but if you don't have a certain image or you don't have a certain look, give it up. And I don't care what your personality is, what you might bring. Hey, you might be that loyal type. Shoot, you might work to be a good wife. But he's very concerned about who he can bring around some people, because it's more than, it's not even about bragging rights, but and as I learned from my Mason Facebook friend, it can mean business. Like anybody who knows about how business is done at the upper levels, it's not they meet in a boardroom. A lot of times it happens at a social event. It happens in a social event. It happens at maybe a country club or a high-end health club, something like that. It happens on the golf course. And a part of that is the woman on a man's arm. Because if a man, I'm going to tell you what, if a man is out with some woman, let's say some dude just say, you know what, I'm going to get out with that ratchet woman. She good, yeah, she don't fit in with this crowd, but she good in bed, she loyal and all of that. If a professional man does that and he brings that woman around some other professional men, particularly men he want to do business with, they're going to look at his judgment and they're going to say, well, if he can't judge something as intimate as the type of mate he have, should I trust this dude with money? In fact, the billionaire H. Ross Perot, who ran for president in 1992, he publicly said he would fire any male employee that was caught cheating on his wife. And the reason why he said it, because he said if that man's wife can't trust him, neither can he. So that's a powerful thing. And because of and that's just a small thing. But because of those reasons, the black professional man is going to be very, very image conscious. And like I said, I used to live in that world, past life, and there were some good women I just didn't deal with because they weren't the right image. Do I regret that? No, not really. They weren't right for me anyway. But I couldn't pursue anything, and I was actually told by some I'll say contemporaries at the time. I explained the situation. Say, yeah, I met this woman, but and they were just like, bruh, you can't do it. And that's a real dynamic. Now, you don't hear about it enough because the concerns of black professional men, they really not expressed on, you ain't gonna see them expressed too much on social media. Because most of the cats are real, like, low key. If they might look at some of these videos, but they ain't gonna be big on making them or something unless it's for their business or paying attention, or because they too busy working. They don't have time for it. So anyway, right? That's it for now, ladies. I'll get back with you later. Peace and blessings.